Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and its teaser trailer made its debut just a week ago or so, and a lot of people are very excited about what's coming our way by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about this film that a lot of people are very intrigued about is, of course, exactly how J.J. is going to find a way to connect this movie to all 9 Star Wars movies in one big movie that will conclude the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga entirely. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting. Now, specifically, this all has to do with Anakin Skywalker and Kylo Ren, a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren inside of the Dark Spire, where it's described that Kylo and his knights are walking up a spiral staircase. It's described that Kylo hears the Force Ghost voice of Anakin Skywalker and that it is guiding him to what is described as the Shrines of the Sith. It's described that eventually Kylo orders his Knights of Ren to go in a separate direction, where Kylo is lured into the Shrines of the Sith while the Knights search for another spot in the tower. The next describes a rear shot of Kylo Ren witnessing the hybrid Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker guiding Kylo into the darkness, where it's said that as the Force Ghost moves, it leaves a trail of particles as it moves. It said that this hybrid Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker in this sequence is a mixture of Vader's helmet and Anakin Skywalker's face with the hood over his head. The last goes over the Anakin hybrid ghost, revealing the Shrines of the Sith to Kylo that is said to be the center of the Dark Spire, before the Anakin apparition vanishes in the distance. It's described that this is the location of the origins of the dark side, where Kylo gains new knowledge of the Force. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is using a lot of his older ideas from The Force Awakens that never made it to the final cut of the movie, and will be applying that into this exact film that will end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga. So one thing I do want to take away from this is that it's really intriguing to me that the whole concept of a hybrid Force Ghost seems to be a thing for J.J. Abrams. A lot of people seem to disagree with it because, in case you guys are really not informed about this, a hybrid Force Ghost is a mixture, basically, of the dark side and the light, where in that scenario for Anakin Skywalker, it's a mixture between both Darth Vader and Anakin, where half his face is Darth Vader and the other half is the regular Anakin face. So in this specific scenario and sequence for Kylo Ren, he orders his knights to search other spots of the Dark Spire, where Kylo eventually leads himself into the Shrines of the Sith, where the actual hybrid Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker is guiding him into that location. And this location within the Dark Spire is said to be the origins of the dark side, the exact spot in this Dark Spire castle. So, the Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost is said to leave trails of particles as it moves, almost as if it's a living being, leaving ashes along its way. So, what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that this seems like a real dark element of Star Wars that we have never seen before on the big screen, and it also seems like J.J. Abrams wants to introduce and change the entire concept of Force Ghosts, where we're going to have a nice hybrid Force Ghost in the form of both Anakin and Vader. Again, in case you guys have not seen it, it is indeed in the art book of The Force Awakens. It was an original idea that JJ wanted to put in Episode 7, as well as Yoda. He wanted to do something with Yoda as well. So those two Force Ghosts did not make it into Episode 7, and now JJ wants to bring it back in Episode 9. So Kylo Ren, I gotta say guys, his experience with Anakin Skywalker, learning more about his grandfather, it does bring up the question, does he know that this Force Ghost is, of course, Anakin? Does he even know who it really is? Or does he just figure that it's a Force Ghost vision and or just a Force Ghost in front of him, guiding him to the Shrines of the Sith? So the Shrines of the Sith, like I say, this probably matches directly up with what we went over a couple of weeks ago about Kylo Ren going into a graveyard almost within the Dark Spire that has a lot of statues of the ancient Sith, as well as the more recent Sith like Emperor Palpatine, Darth Plagueis, and of course Darth Vader. So we also know that the Acolytes of the Beyond had a great hand in developing these statues, at least the more recent ones, such as Vader, Plagueis, and even Emperor Palpatine. But one thing I will say that I really like about all of this is that this seems like a very dark part of Star Wars by JJ that seems to be even darker than that of Revenge of the Sith. I don't know about you guys, but it really seems like it's very medieval-esque. It has a lot of mythology behind it, a lot of magic going into it, and you can only imagine what this is going to look like on the big screen once it hits theaters December of this year. Now, to me, I think it's honestly a great way to incorporate the character of Anakin on both sides. We do know that JJ plans to have a light side version of Anakin's Force Ghost, as well as the hybrid Force Ghost version of Anakin Skywalker. Whether or not that's a good or a bad move by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew is a big question open on the table for discussion, for sure. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to moon.